All right, everybody. Aaron Breitman from the Scarlet Faithful coming to you after Rutgers' disappointing loss to Michigan. 58-45, very disappointing performance. Brutal offensive performance. Rutgers held a 13-3 lead to start. I thought they came out with energy. I thought they were sharing the basketball well. They had, defensively they were locked in. They had Michigan on the ropes early. And they couldn't build on it. They kind of went into a lull when Michigan, I think they missed 10 shots in a row. And it was a big missed opportunity in that moment. Sometimes the knockout blow can come right away, and Rutgers had a chance to do that tonight, and they couldn't do it, and it really bit them the rest of the way. Michigan got back into the game. When Paul and Cliff were subbed at the same time, I think it was about 8 minutes into the game. Rutgers had no answer for Dickinson when Cliff was out of the game. Cliff ended up finishing -2 for the game, but they were -11 with him off the floor. I thought that Cliff did reasonably well against Dickinson. Their stats are pretty similar. Cliff was 10-10. Dickinson was 13-11. But there was a big swing when Cliff wasn't on the floor. I think that for some reason, Rutgers just got really tight. The stats tell the story. I wrote them all down because it's pretty telling. Well, first I'll say defensively. Defensively, Rutgers was fine. More than fine. They were good. They held Michigan 15 points below their Big Ten scoring average. They averaged 73 a Big Ten game. They scored 58. Michigan only shot 41%. I thought that was obviously defensively they did what they needed to do. But they shot 38%. They were 5 of 16 from the free throw line. A big difference was turnovers. Rutgers committed 13 turnovers. Michigan committed 10. But Michigan held a 17-3 points off a turnover advantage. That's between that and the foul line. Huge differential. How many free throws did Michigan make? They made 7 of 11. So the differential was only 2 on free throws, but Rutgers left a lot of points on the board. Off the board by missing so many. It really killed them in the first half, too, with momentum. They were 3 of 12. It really sucked the life out of the rack. You could hear groans on TV. In addition, they were 5 of 18 on layups. They were -6 on the glass. They only had 6 offensive rebounds. I'd have to look that up, but that's got to be near a Big Ten low for Rutgers this year. And it's upsetting because it was just like the energy was not there, especially in the second half. I thought that they played hard, but at the same time, it's like, rebounding is effort. It's desire. It's energy. And 6 offensive rebounds is for as many misses as they had. It's uncharacteristic. They had 29 misses. They only got 6 offensive rebounds. Also, Michigan had 7 more shots from the field. But yeah, 29 misses, and you only get 6 offensive rebounds. Michigan had 32 misses, and they only had 9. But Rutgers, that's real tough to only get that off offensive. They needed second chance points, and they couldn't get them. 5 of 18 on layups. Obviously, Dickinson, Reed had something to do with that with their interior defense. But, Rutgers, especially in the second half, too, after they missed so many free throws in the first half, they didn't really attack the rim. It was like they were psyched out. They just seemed as a team mentally off. They played really tight. I thought also some keys in this game. I thought for Michigan, McDaniel and Buffkin, I thought they were huge for Michigan. They played with a lot of energy. They had some big shots. They had an attacking mindset. And I thought they were the difference in the game, to be honest with you. I thought that they just, gave Michigan exactly what they needed, and while as a team they didn't have a great offensive night, they got enough in terms of Buffkin and McDaniel hitting some key shots at key moments, and stepped up, and Rutgers didn't get anyone to do that. I thought when Paul converted that 3-point play with exactly 10 minutes to go in the game, cut it to 40-38, I thought, okay, here we go. They're going to make a run here. And it felt like the momentum was shifting. And then, I'm sure Pike will probably be asked about it in the postgame, but he took Paul right out after the made free throw, and Rutgers committed 2 turnovers and then got blocked. He put Paul right back in after that, but that was enough to turn the tide, I thought. It was 40-38 when he left the game, 44-38 when he came back, but then Michigan scored soon after. I mean, with 10 minutes to go, I mean, if they went on an 18-5 run until Simpson hit, made a bucket with like 10 seconds to go. So, I mean, Rutgers made 3 field goals in the last 10 minutes. So, offensively, really bad night. I thought that they, weren't sharing the basketball. They were kind of stagnant. It was almost, I don't know if it was as much ISO play, but it was like they were each play or each possession, they were so focused on 1 or 2 players, and they just kind of got stuck, and Michigan's zone had something to do with that. That was a problem for them. They couldn't get enough in transition. What was transition? They had 11 points in transition, but it wasn't enough. And again, it goes back to points off of turnovers. I mean, they forced 10 turnovers and they only got 3 points out of it. That's rough. No one played particularly well tonight. They really didn't get anything from Andre Hyatt, which is tough. He was 0 for 5. That really hurt them, I thought. Simpson, didn't play great either. He had 5 points, but he looked a little rattled and just shaky with the ball. For sure, he didn't play with the same poise that he's been playing with. So those 2 guys have been so huge for Rutgers lately, and they did not play well. Palmquist hit a 3, but that was about it. I did think Woolfolk, that stint he had in the second half gave them energy. He went right at Dickinson and started pushing him around and got called for a ridiculous foul. But, then the next play, Dickinson turned it over, and I think it rattled him a little bit. And, at least somebody showed some passion and some fire there. I really liked what Wolf gave him tonight, even though it was a very short stint. Reber didn't do too well. I thought Cam was okay. He looked for a shot at times. He hit some shots at times. He was 5 of 12 from the field. He had 7 rebounds, 3 steals. He was active. I think they actually should have tried to get him involved more. I thought Cliff tried. I thought, he positioning-wise, his spacing, his footwork, struggled at times. He set up too far away from the rim. His moves, were kind of rushed or just... not a lot of finesse there. He missed all 4 free throws. That was rough. Like I said, it was extremely valuable to be on the floor, and I thought defensively he played rather well. But it was offensively, no one played well. Caleb, it was great to see him come back. He played 25 minutes off the bench. He had some moments, and he had 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. I thought he was fine. Mulcahy had that 3-point play. He finished with 9.6 assists, just 2 turnovers. But, listen, this is crunch time. This is down the stretch of the season time. And Rutgers needs more out of their best players. They do. That was a big, I thought, telling sign tonight. And I hate to say that, but, between, the 4-star, kind of the core 4, Paul, Cliff, Cam, and Caleb, collectively, they didn't give enough tonight. And that's a problem, on your home floor. Michigan was desperate. Michigan was in a must-win situation. So you had to expect that. And they were the hungrier team tonight. And it stinks to say that, but they were. They were clearly the hungrier team. I think, there needs to be some perspective. Fans were booing Rutgers off the court. I get it. Second poor performance in a row, but, I don't condone the booing. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think this team deserved it. They're hurting right now, and I know people don't want to, account for Moat Mag's injury, but it really changed something in the DNA of this team. It did. And, Saturday's effort against Wisconsin was tremendous. And this team has heart. This team has character. I thought tonight was much more about execution. They threw a lot of bad passes. they were rushing. They were tense. They were playing tight. It wasn't an effort thing. It wasn't that they didn't play hard, because defensively they were good. The defensive efficiency rating was 95. It's one of their better ones of the season, the best one since Michigan State. Their offensive efficiency rating was the second worst of the season. Seton Hall was like 72 something. Tonight was 73 something. Illinois was 87, and nothing else has been under 90. So it was a miserable offensive performance. It was terrible execution. It was a good defensive night. I thought their effort was there, but they didn't have that energy. They didn't have that killer instinct. They didn't have that kind of leadership to get them over the hump. And you're looking for kind of some unbridled desire at this point, and some fire in this team. And sadly, it wasn't there tonight. So I know people want to panic. I'm getting plenty of panic tweets sent at me on Twitter. And, people are angry. People are writing them off. People are, ripping Peichel. I mean, I saw somebody say it's back to the Eddie Jordan era. I mean, it's just... There's a lack of perspective there. There's a lack of context there. At the end of the day, coming into this game, it's not the end of the day. Coming into the game, they're pretty much universally projected as a number 7 seed. There was a stat today. I can't remember which bracketology account tweeted it, but Rutgers is one of 15 teams nationally that has at least 6 wins against teams projected to make the NCAA tournament per bracket matrix, which summarizes all the bracket projections there are, which is over 100 sites. So Rutgers is 6-6 against teams projected to make the NCAA tournament, and so they're only one of 15 teams to have at least 6 wins and 500 record or better. Tonight, it didn't hurt them because Michigan's on the bubble. They're not even projected in. Their net is 28. They're going to drop now. Probably a 13-point loss at home. That's pretty bad. They're going to fall back to probably, mid 30s, maybe like 33. They fell back in KenPom from 27 to 33. Not good. Not a good win. Not a good performance. Not a good drop back. They are not yet on the bubble. I know people want to say they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. If they do make the NCAA tournament, they're not going to do anything. I mean, I get it. You're upset. You're frustrated. College basketball has taught you anything over the years. Anything's possible. And, there's always a few teams that struggle down the stretch that end up getting hot in March. So I get it that it doesn't look like it on paper. It doesn't look like it in reality that this team has much left. And maybe they don't. But you can't give up on this team till it's over. And I just think that, this was a very frustrating loss. I think this team is obviously, struggling offensively. They're struggling to figure things out. They're not connected on the floor, and it's a problem. And they're not reaching their potential. So now you go to Penn State, team that won tonight at Ohio State. They're on the bubble. They're going to be hungry. Rutgers does not play well at Happy Valley. They won once, I think. Since joining the Big Ten, they did handle Penn State really well at home, but Penn State, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. So that's a concern. That's going to be a really tough game Sunday night. Then you go to Minnesota, must win. Quad 4 game, got to win that one on the road. And then you come home for senior day against Northwestern, who's hot. I didn't even check to see if they beat Illinois or not. They were winning big, and I know it was tied late. But, I know people don't want to take it one game at a time, and they want to rush to judgment, and they want to just, freak out. But you really have to take it one game at a time, especially with this team. And I think, they're a little more unpredictable. They're a little less reliable. We're going to get performances. We've seen them struggle. This was a really brutal performance. This is really disappointing. It was tough. I still shocked that people booed. I get expectations are higher, but it's a long season. It's a long season, and we're in the shits right now. Let's be honest. I mean, it doesn't feel good, but we need to, as a fan base, have a little bit more intestinal fortitude. I get that for years and years and years, we were never even on the bubble. So there's no real perspective in that regard. But after the last 3 years, and this is the fourth year, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a scratch and claw. If you're obsessed with getting a double bye in the Big Ten, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's disappointing right now. It's certainly disappointing. It stinks too that, that Ohio State loss looms large right now. 10-7 would be a heck of a lot better than 9-8. But it's not over till it's over. And this team is just given too much and has too many pieces to give up. I'm sorry. It just does. And I think, got to strap in. And, I think college basketball is unpredictable. I think this team is now unpredictable. But defensively, listen, they played terrible offensively. They played good defensively. If they, the thing that was so disturbing about the Nebraska loss is defensively they were terrible. Tonight they played Rutgers defense. They just were awful offensively. I know that's frustrating, and people are like, well, why are they so bad on offense? And yeah, they're certainly limited. I think that they were too reliant on. I think they were almost forced it a little bit too much inside with Cliff. I think they needed to get downhill more with drives. That's where Hyatt and Simpson are really good at that. And they had off nights. And, you just got to get back off the mat and get back at it. And listen, winning at Penn State would be it's a quad one opportunity. And that's a big opportunity for them. So they have 5 quad one wins. That's pretty solid. And, they have their good wins are good. At Purdue and at Northwestern are probably the 2 best road wins in the entire Big Ten. This team still has, resume-wise, has plenty going for them. I know that people are nervous. I know there's, if Rutgers loses out the regular season, it's going to be nerve-wracking. But, it's a really soft bubble this year. Everybody has them projected in. So, they're going to drop. How far are they going to drop? I'm sure some people will have them drop to, a 9 or a 10 seed. I think they're probably still going to be consensus around an 8. And you have, 3 more opportunities to earn wins in the regular season. And I just think based on this performance, Nebraska, everybody, you want to give up. And then they went and they won at Wisconsin. So, can they go and win at Penn State? Absolutely. Absolutely. So this team just has too many pieces, too much character to give up and think that they're not going to respond. I think they're going to respond. And, it's just we're going to have to persevere here. And, that's my advice. So thanks for listening once again. Check out all my coverage at thescarletfaithful.com. And, just try to stay positive. I really do believe in this team. And I do not think that they're out of gas. They just have to, they're still trying to evolve and figure things out.